survive. Nice to meet you, sort of, right? In the modern age.
Yeah.
And your first and last name, Sabrina Audi, like the automobile?
It's Sabrina Awdi, but we spell it with a W instead of a U. So yeah,
Interesting. And who's we? Like, where are you from? From
my
where?
family. Yeah. My family particularly, we decided to split the double.
Oh, you
Yeah.
wanted to be different from the automobile.
I mean, there's lots of people with the same family name, like in Arabic, but they decided to go for the U as well, or the OU for Audi, but we just went with the W. I don't know why, but that's how I was basically born with. This is how I was born in. Yeah.
Okay, so you're Arabic. So how often, and is it annoying that you get called Latina? Like how often does that happen? Are you referred to as Latina?
It happens pretty often. A lot of people are.
Yeah.
When I came to America back in 2016, I came to study here in university. I was born here, but I lived most of my life in Lebanon, and I not most of it, like a big majority of it in Lebanon, but it was the longest period of time. And there was also about 6 years when I was a kid. I lived in Romania. So I came back at 19 and I came to study here. And I would go on Ubers a lot because I didn't have a driver's license yet at first. And um, yeah, a lot of the Uber drivers thought I was Latina. They
Would they talk to you in Spanish? Would they say like, "Hola, cómo?"
speak Spanish, but they would ask me, and I would be like, "No, I'm not."
This
But I'm not. Even like some Arab guys tell me, you don't even look Arab. Like you kind of look, you don't even like. You could look kind of white, and you could look kind of Latino. So
But what's a distinctive feature? Like, what would be Arabic as opposed to Latina? Is it like, huh?
Arabic is the language.
Okay,
Arab
so
is
Arab.
the,
I got
yeah, Arab or Middle Eastern. Um. So sorry, what was your question?
like what would be something that like they would think gives it away and that you don't give it away? Like, is it like facial structure, nose structure, cheekbone? Is it something like that?
Uh, I don't think anything really gives it away. I just told them I'm Arab. Like, cause my English is also really good. So a lot of times, even in my own country, like, they don't think that I lived in Lebanon all my life because of the way I talk in English. Like, they think my English is really good. And I speak like an American because of the time I've lived here. Like, I have the accent. Um, so yeah, I don't think anything in particular really gives it away. I think it's just if I put a flag that I'm Lebanese or um, if I talk about Lebanon, if I speak in Arabic, or if I have a little bit of an accent, then maybe they'll notice that I'm not 100% like from here or from there or
And do you
yeah.
do you like where you live at? Do you run into a lot of like Arabic people or Arab people rather? Sorry.
Um, right now where I am, there are Arabs, yes. There are, I think there's Arabs spread everywhere, like
Mhm.
all across the globe. Everywhere I went, I heard somebody walking on the streets talking in Arabic on the phone, or they have a Lebanese accent. Like I can tell they're Lebanese, I can tell they're not Lebanese, because their accent is different. Like we
Mhm.
also have different accents for different countries in the Middle East and
Of
in
course.
North Africa.
Mhm.
So yeah, so there's a lot. There's a lot of Arab spread everywhere. I went to Canada once. I just saw some Lebanese people like taking pictures. Niagara Falls,
But what,
and I
what told you they were Lebanese? Like their accent, like dialect?
speak Arabic, and their Arabic is the same as the ours, like the slang language we speak in
Okay,
Lebanese.
okay.
Accent. Have a particular way of speaking. It's not exactly the written way, the traditional. I don't know how to say it in English. The certain way
Mhm.
that is written, the written Arabic. That's the. It's like textbook Arabic, and that's the one that they teach you in school. It's called Fatah in Arabic. It's the
Fasah?
I don't know if it's called Fatah.
Fasah.
No. Oh, it's a
Oh, okay. Okay. No. Yeah. Thanks for being charitable. No.
that's
No.
we have some letters that are hard for non-Arabs to say, like ha,
Yeah, it's like the tongue, right? It's like because for Spanish, for
yeah,
us we have to it's rolling the R. That's what people who are native like Spanish
it's
speakers.
like yeah, it's like from your vocal cords and
Mhm.
your tongue, I guess, at the same time. And we have like instead of saying Ali, like Ali is a very Arabic
Yeah,
even thing.
Ali was like wasn't he like the cousin of Muhammad or
I
nephew?
think uh, he was the son of a prophet. No,
Yeah,
he was a prophet.
yeah, because that's where the divide comes from. Not to get into some of that.
He was
Yeah,
no, he was the son of a prophet.
yeah,
But
because that's where the divide comes from, right? Not to get into all of that, but like Sunni and Shia, that's like the divide, about who has lineage, who has the right to the claim and all that. Yeah.
yeah, that's a big thing as well. Um, but going back to like Ali, we don't say Ali, we say Ali, like we say ah,
Ah, Ali.
like it's like in the throat, like ah.
Ah. No, 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 no.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, so you said you were born and raised in Lebanon, and then you
I was
came
born
to the States
in
as a
America.
teenager?
No, I was born in America.
Okay.
Uh, but I'm originally Lebanese because what my parents are.
Mhm.
And so yeah, my bloodline is 100% Lebanese, or at least 90. I've never done the test before,
Mhm.
at least, but yeah.
Mhm.
And I've lived in a lot of different countries. I've been in a lot of different places. Here, I was in New Jersey. We lived in Detroit, Michigan for a while because
Mhm.
we're all the Lebanese really are, all the Arabs. Like it's a lot of Lebanese community. A big one, actually. It's not small.
Yeah, isn't I mean, not to get political unless you want to, but isn't Biden? I hear that he's definitely gonna lose Michigan because of what's going on right now with Gaza and Israel. Like I hear there's a big movement there. I mean, I guess there's a big Muslim population in Michigan, and
There's a really big Lebanese and specifically Muslim population in Michigan, and especially in Dearborn and Detroit. It's like people. I haven't been there since I was like 7, literally, but I hear that you just walk the streets there and you see like Arab stores, like restaurants, uh, you go to the supermarket, you see some of the Lebanese, like it's an Arab community. It's like
Mhm.
they have taken over the city
Yeah,
of Dearborn and
yeah.
Detroit.
I can imagine it's like me being Mexican, and I went to LA recently. And when I was in LA, I felt like, oh, this is Mexico. This is like little Mexico. And before it was just East LA, and now it's also South Central LA, which is most of my family resides in South Central. So it's like all of this is now pretty much little Mexico, which is, I mean, it makes me feel good because I mean, I feel like I'm comfortable there. When I went to LA, I felt like I was kind of in Mexico. Obviously, I was still in the States. It wasn't Mexico, but I still felt very, very much at home. Like, do you feel that too? Like when you're around, like I know you say you haven't been to Detroit in the longest, but where you are now, do you try to like keep those connections with like people like Lebanese people?
Um, it depends because like not all Lebanese people are people you should hang around with. It's just like with anyone.
Yeah,
Just
of
because
course.
they're from the same country as you are, it doesn't mean
Yeah,
that they're all your.
yeah, of course, of
So
course.
it's kind of like you have to like see who's worth being around and who isn't.
Yeah, like the vibe and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of things because there can also be within your own community a lot of drama and
Hmm.
like as if they were still in the same society before, but they just like relocated and took everything with them, even like their old mentalities.
Hmm.
And then some of them are more progressive and they've adapted to like where they live. So it really depends.
Yeah, it's like that old antiquated way of thinking, and they can't disconnect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it depends. Or they're like way too open and way too like Americanized, and it just feels that they're proud to be from where they're from, but they're nothing like that, or they have no idea what the actual like experiences of the people that their own people are really like, because they're way more privileged than them.
Mhm.
So you want to like find that balance of
Of course. You wanna be mindful of where you come from, but at the same time, if there's something that you can evolve, obviously evolve from it. Like obviously being from a Mexican household, sexism it's a real thing. The patriarchy, like the way like the man like I remember I had a partner one time and I was like a teenager and I remember I was on the phone with her and out of nowhere she's like, okay, I gotta go. My dad just got here. Like just hang on, don't hang up, whatever. And then she comes back and I'm like, everything good? Like, what's up? And she's like, yeah, I just had to go serve him because if I don't serve him, he doesn't eat. And like the food is prepared and he sits at the table with his arms crossed. And if no one serves him, he doesn't eat. And I was just like,
yeah,
that was just so crazy to me. It's like, bro, the food's already there. It's made for you. Just serve yourself, get your tortillas and eat. But no, he's like a child and a man child. And if she didn't go serve him, he would be angry about it and he would pout about it and, lash out about it later. And that just to me, that just blew my mind. But that's a good thing that is blowing my mind because it's showing that as a generation now in America, Mexican American, we're looking at stuff like that. At least for the most part, I think a lot of people I associate with have a similar reaction. Like, "Ooh, just serve yourself. Like, what's the big deal there?"
yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've witnessed a lot. Like it's from one hand they want women to be more progressive,
mhm,
and at the same time they don't want them to be too progressive that it doesn't serve them the way that they want to. That
mhm.
makes sense.
Do you feel any pressure as like a professional, like being a woman from that culture, or whatever? Is there any kind of like antiquated pressure towards you as far as like, why are you so ambitious as a professional? Like, should you just be a housewife? Because like in Mexican culture, that also can be an obstacle. Like, I have a friend who she accomplished so much and she has her career going, and her mom, the only thing that matters to her mom is, why aren't you married yet? Why don't you have kids yet? I want grandchildren. It's just succeeding. She is succeeding in her field, like, she's going above
Yeah,
and beyond, and the mom is just like, "Yeah, but your sister who, barely finished high school, she gave me 3 grandchildren." So, I kinda like, it's kinda like, I'm doing and then it ends up being a paradox because the more the mom kind of gives off that energy, the more this friend wants to succeed and show her wrong and prove it to her and win her love, and it's like, that's not ideal either.
yeah, yeah. I've definitely been like I've heard both sides. I've heard there's a lot of people that have told me like uh I was like I think 18 or 19 when the first time I somebody asked me when do you want to get married, and I'm like, well, my dad told me like I shouldn't get married until like after I finish college, and like maybe I'll get engaged or something like 26, and that the person reacted to me like, what? You would probably be too old for them.
26 years old? Wow.
I was shocked. I was so shocked and insulted because I had the same reaction, like, what?
Yeah, I'm 32 and I'm nowhere near being married.
Yeah, but there's still people that have this backwards way of thinking. Like,
But then again, that person would say I'm a guy, so it's different for me.
well, the person that said that to me, ironically, was not a guy.
Yeah, but like that's what I mean. Like it's also women that do it to themselves too. Like they put more pressure on themselves to be a housewife or be married, whereas a guy can do everything in his own personal business. And then later on, when he's like in his mid 30s, it's still not too late. But for a woman, 25, 26 is too late. Like, what the fuck? Excuse my language. But that's the stuff that I see. I see a lot of parallels there with Arab and Hispanic culture. It's a lot. It's like it's a culture of obviously hard work and hard values, but also it's like a lot of tough love and sometimes lack of love, if anything.
I don't really know what it is. I feel like it's a lot of brainwashing. A lot of people that are dissatisfied with their own life, and they just like have been indoctrinated
Mhm,
this idea there's to stay were kids and they had to adopt it in their own lives. And they didn't like the outcome of it, so they decided they should shit on others as well.
yeah,
Like the same people say that stuff to others are miserable in their own lives and they did not get the outcome they want.
mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, and now it's put on you, the pressure's put on you, like, the parallels I see
Yeah.
also, like, we see it with sports dads or sports moms who put pressure on their child to do the same sport because they couldn't make it, and now the child has
Yeah.
to make it, you gotta make it.
They want their dreams through you
Yep,
one way or
yep,
the other.
yep, yep. Okay, so let's
And
that's some, like, basic sorry?
yeah, no,
No, I was just saying, like, so a little bit of background on that. But, getting to the like, what got my attention when I came across, like, the brand designing, right? Brand designer. So, like,
yeah,
if we're in line getting coffee, right? And you always have those single serving interactions with humans, I would imagine. Like, if someone says, like, "Hey, what do you do, by the way?" Like, what do you say to them? You just like, what's the watered down, like, answer to a single servant interaction? Like, I'm just a brand designer, I'm a designer, I'm a what's your response to that?
most times I would say I'm a brand designer, but then I'd have to kind of explain a little bit what that is because they're used to the term graphic designer. So I would tell them I literally work on brands. I do branding because they do ask me, is it like logos and stuff like that? Like, yeah, but it's a bit more than logos. There actually there's research behind what I do. There's strategy. There's brand strategy.
Yep.
And I put thought into the design that I'm doing to actually help the business one way or the other stand out. And I mean, it's kind of overused, I think, in the design world. Yes, my job is to make you stand out, but that's what it is. It is to make you stand out. It is to make you um, people. Let's say they, I don't know, they go. Let's talk about book design. For example, not graphic design. They go to a bookshop. They go to Barnes and Nobles or any bookshop. They want to go and pick a book. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but like we all judge a book by
Yeah.
its cover. We
Yes, of
all
course.
the
Of
cover
course. Yeah, yeah.
look at the cover first and we see if we like the cover and then we pick up the book and we read at the back what it's about. It's like the cover is what catches our interest first.
Yep.
So it's kind of the same with branding. Like the logo, it's something that kind of like is supposed to represent the brand and what the brand stands for and with the messaging of the brand, that logo kind of stays in the consciousness of the consumer or the user.
Mhm. Yeah, also one thing about your
Yeah.
Instagram page that I noticed and I appreciated was, the fact that you explained that a brand isn't just a logo. A brand is like the reputation of the company, essentially. It's like it's
Yeah.
more than just a freaking logo, and also another thing that you obviously take passion in your work because I mean, you have to be diligent. It's something you have to put a lot of work into. But the fact that one of your posts, I don't know if it was pinned or maybe it's in your latest post, were saying that, "Are we a match for each other?" It wasn't, "Give me your money." It wasn't, "Hire me." It was, "Are we a match for each other?" Like, let's figure out, are we a match?
Yeah.
If we're a match, we can work together, and if we're not, then we're just not. So that's something that to me kind of stood out because oftentimes people are just like, "This is my work, hire me, let's do it, click, click." But you were like, "Wait, let's slow down and see if we're a match because it is a relationship. It is, a business relationship. And
Yeah.
obviously because it's the brand, it's something where they have to trust you and they have to have that they can have that direction with you and also have that trust that you know where they want to go, that you understand each other as far as like what the brand and like, by extension the logo is of the company or what they want to inflict on people when the people see their brand or come across their logo, like what they want to inspire in people.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of psychology behind it as well that
Yep.
is
Yep.
not really, I guess, studied that much, but it's there. Like, there's a lot there if we're gonna unpack the topic. But yeah,
No, yeah, yeah. I'm an unpacker. Like I'm a rambler. So that being said, like the psychology of it, I remember when I was younger, I would read about how like certain football teams would paint the colors of the opposing locker room team a certain color that and they would go into halftime and then come out of halftime the opposing team like a little more A little more relaxed, lackadaisy, not really focused, not really like, aggressive. And is that something you kind of like, do you lend credence to that as far as like colors affecting mood, like lighter colors, like pastels or something like that?
Colors are very big factor
Mhm.
branding in all design in general because colors affect our moods. They affect the way we perceive things. Like red could mean so many different things. For me, red is like, or just generally speaking, when looks at someone looks at the color red, they see somebody bold. If they're wearing red, some
Mm,
passion, love, hate. It's a very strong feeling
mhm.
associated with the color. Or like blue is like more calm, serene. It's more cool.
Royal.
It's the color
I
sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like royalty when I see like blue, like I don't know. I think like royal, like elegant kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, the color purple also expresses
Mm,
royalty. It expresses
yes. 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 Color purple.
kingdom, king and queen, mystery, I guess, mischievousness. The color black is also mystery. It's like ominous. Like it
Yeah.
could be good, it could be bad.
So what say about me that like I create a podcast and it's just black, like it's a black everything, like the cover art, the logo.
So like black and white are very neutral colors.
Yeah.
They go with everything. So they don't have to mean anything specific, but generally if the depending on the way it's designed, it could mean elegance, minimalism. If it's used in a way like trying to depict something more edgy or scary, like it goes more into the gothic style. So it really depends on what you're using like these basic colors for. Um, like neutrals are usually like base colors. They're supposed to be more simple, more minimalistic.
And neutrals would be like what? White, black, gray.
White, black, beige, like tans, like
Mhm.
light beige, dark beige. Those are usually neutral. Yeah.
Mm. So when a person
Yeah.
comes, so when a person comes to you, do you ask them what's your favorite color, or do you kind of like go through the process of like what do you want your brand to represent? Like what do you want the person to feel when they think about your brand? Like did,
Yeah.
like for example, red, do you want to like have some kind of passion, some kind of spiciness to I don't know the logo or the brand? Is that some kind of conversation you have with your potential client?
So like, I have a process. Basically, I have a questionnaire, and a lot of designers do this. They have a bunch of questions. You did mention a few of the questions that I ask. Like I have questions like what's the brand personality of the brand, what is your mission statement, what is your target audience, um, basically where do you see the brand hanging out? Is it online, in person, on shelves? Where does it stay? Well, who's gonna get it? Who's gonna go after it? Who's the Yeah, there's a lot of different questions I ask, and like what are its traits, like adjectives? Is it more feminine, more masculine, more maximalist, more minimalist? Is it bold? Is
So
it
what
vibrant?
is maximalist? Like bright colors?
Maximal No, maximalism is the opposite of it. It's when you want a lot of different things stashed together like in one place.
Mhm.
Like a lot of different colors, a lot of different objects. Like let's say the room is very so if you like ignore this part of the room, like
Okay.
let's say it was just like all white and just have like a little bit of furniture, that's considered like minimalism.
Yeah.
And but if you had a lot of furniture, you had lots of color in the room, you had a lot of different objects on your desk, that's maximalism. So a lot is going on. It's like more is more. Whereas minimalism less is more.
Yeah, like to me, that would be a clutter, and I would feel like anxious with maximalism because like I like it would just be a clutter. Like I like structure. I like the minimal. Like just I guess that's why my color of my theme is like black. My studio room, everything is black. I painted it black.
Style. So I guess you could Google it, but I give like another example. It's like your home, the decor.
Yeah.
There's like there's like statue here. There's a mirror here. You have a lot of decor, there's a lot of objects, and they're meant to be placed there. I mean, it's not. It's just your style, a lot maximum of lot of it, so much of it everywhere.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Would you say you're more of a maximalist person, like as far as your furniture, or more minimalist?
I'm saying somewhere in the middle because I don't like too much, and I feel like stuff get lost. Like you
Mm,
pay for something,
okay.
it just goes bad, or you lose it, or something, or it's hard when you want to move. But I'm also not minimalist because I cannot live off of just like a few t-shirts and
Yeah.
few pairs of shoes. Like I like style, I like to change it up, I like color. I still like prefer at times to have a physical book to read as opposed to have everything electronically.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like somewhere. In the middle,
Yeah, well, Kindle's the one thing they haven't got down yet is like the smell, like the smell of old books, like just the smell in general. Like when I go to, I mean, you mentioned Barnes and Noble. I'm actually gonna go this weekend because I love going during the holidays. You know, it's just the atmosphere, but just in general, just smelling the books and just getting that whiff of the new books, and then just that's the one thing Kindles don't have with books. I think you know, smell and stuff like that.
yeah. Yeah. I don't have a Kindle, I have an iPad, and the thing with the iPad is that you're still on a screen, and like the screen does affect your eyes if you sit on it for too long.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
that's the thing.
so another thing too, like I was gonna ask you, like as far as brand design and what you do, does it kind of overlap with marketing? I would imagine, right? It kind of overlaps with marketing because I mean, I remember my partner at the time, I had a partner and we got into kind of not an argument, but kind of like a debate because I like to think I'm so above marketing. I like to think that it doesn't work on me, but obviously I'm wrong. Marketing works on everyone. But to
Yeah.
me, it marketing just seems so malicious. Like that was my argument to her. It seems very malicious, seems manipulative. And she was like, "No, it's just marketing. It's just influencing you to try to make you think a certain way." And to me, it was like I don't like feeling manipulated. I don't like feeling like people have me figured out. For example, I like to think that when I see ads on my phone, I know what you're doing, Amazon. I know what you're doing, whatever. I'm not gonna purchase it, and then later on, I end up feeling like I want to purchase it. So it has worked. But I like to think that it doesn't work. I like to think I'm too smart for it. But that being said, like marketing, like did you take any kind of marketing class to do your brand design?
Yes, I did. I took a few marketing actually, I had a minor. My minor was in marketing.
And your
Focused
major
on
was graphic design or
when I did my bachelor, we had the option of choosing a minor or
mm,
taking more major design classes. And I felt like I took so many design studio classes that I was like, why not do a minor in marketing?
mm,
And yeah, basically my professor told me like it's the best minor to do. It's like goes hand in hand with design.
mm,
And I took social media marketing, consumer behavior, a few non-marketing courses just because it was required to take some random courses, I guess. I don't know.
mhm.
Like I took financial accounting. I never used that stuff, but I took it anyway.
I just did
Yeah,
that last semester. Mm, mm, mm.
yeah. And brands, something, brands, brand marketing, I think it's called. Yeah, I think, yeah, brand marketing. I
So like brand marketing, like for example, is that focusing on how like that first impression, like to get people into the building or into the tent? Like, is that focused on that? Like hyper focusing on getting that first impression?
yeah, I remember because I did a lot of tasks. So like, I think I remember in the past brand awareness, brand recognition, like things like that. I
Mhm.
don't remember the entire course because it's been a while since I've taken it, but
Mm,
yeah, I think that's what brand marketing
mhm.
is. Like
So
it's
speak,
focusing on the
so speaking of brand awareness, do you deal with slogans too, or do you just do design? Do you do slogans too? Like for example, if you say "Eat fresh," you think about Subway. If you say "I'm loving it," you think about McDonald's. Mhm.
so branding is it's the purpose of it is to bring brand awareness. So it's very good part of it. It's like the main concept really that you want people to recognize your logo and have it in their mind. They're aware of it. They know that it exists. and it's just like they remember it. So yeah, we do work on taglines as well. I work if there is a tagline that the customer has or the client,
Mhm.
we'll work on a tagline. But it's not necessary every single brand has one. It kind of depends, especially if they're first starting out. Like they might have a motto, they might have a mission and all that, but to have a specific tagline, it takes a little bit of time. It has to be unique, and it takes time to develop it. I don't think McDonald's created the "I'm loving it" like overnight. I think it just like became a thing
Mhm.
after some time. I don't know if Starbucks even has a tagline, even
No,
though like
I don't think so. Now that I think about it, no, no, they don't have a tagline.
I'm personally boycotting Starbucks for several reasons,
Obvious
but
reasons. Obvious reasons. Obvious reasons. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah.
maybe from a branding perspective, think about it. They don't have a tagline. There's so many brands that don't actually have a tagline. I don't even know what Amazon tagline is. They might have one, but I have no idea.
No, just Prime. That's all they say all the time. Prime because they're
Yeah, it's not. You don't really need a tagline. It just depends on what kind of customer base you have
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
what makes it appealing for you know to get more customers in.
Yeah, cause like, also, like, I pay attention to, like, the most random stuff, but I noticed also, like, over the past couple years, Wendy's, for example, like, it's become common thought that Wendy's is the healthy fast food, but it isn't. It's just like McDonald's, but for some reason, they did a good job at rebranding themselves as the healthy cheeseburgers. Like, they're the healthy fast food. And if you go into a Wendy's now, like you see the decor, it's very like lime greeny, like very lively colors, like, and you see a lot of like lettuce on paintings on the wall, a lot of things that make you feel like, oh, this is the healthier option as opposed to McDonald's, like which is interesting to me. Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies that do that, and they try to pick a specific product, especially to focus on in terms of marketing. Uh, I'm pretty sure that the people doing the research, there's marketing researchers, they do so much research. They decide to go out and create a campaign. And I think a big thing about Wendy's, I haven't been there in a long time, but I remember that they had like a salad or something that was like
Mhm.
being marketed as like a healthy salad. It's not that great of a salad. You just have the stuff. And it's like, I don't like salad and fast food in general, but they like highlight certain things to make it like stand out.
Yeah.
But to me, Wendy's is somewhat equivalent to Chick-fil-A. Only Chick-fil-A it markets itself as like a chicken place for chicken. We have everything. It's from the name Chick-fil-A. And they have the wedge fries, which are really good. So that's why I guess I like more Chick-fil-A. And yeah, th-
Yeah, and Chick-fil-A
there's
also had that campaign with the chicken with the cows, right? Like the cows on the billboards, like eat more chicken, right? Like you ever see
yeah,
those?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think I remember the name.
Yeah, it's like a cow holding up another cow, and they're, like, painting "Eat more chicken" or something like that on the billboard.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's all part of the brand. That's an extension of it, right? I mean, that's the brand. Like, for example, another thing of the brand too is the culture. Chick-fil-A, you never see a customer a worker or an employee who's in a bad mood. They're usually pretty lively and they're very generous and they go out of the way above and beyond. It becomes a meme on Instagram that they go above and beyond to like satisfy the customer. Similar with I don't know if you have Publix where you're at. Do you know Publix?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Publix. Same thing with Publix. If you go to Publix and see a worker in Publix and a worker in Walmart, the contrast is crazy. At Walmart, you see people that are miserable and hate working there, whereas Publix, people go out of the way to like, be nice to you and be friendly. For example, on the other day, I was behind this gentleman and it was his birthday and the lady the cashier, she went out of her way. She left the post and then she went to go give him a balloon. She gave him a balloon for his birthday and said happy birthday to him and like, apologize for making you wait. And I was like, no, that's fine, you're fine. But that would never happen in Walmart. If you told someone in Walmart it was your birthday, they would look at you like, I don't care. Like, please get out of my line. That's how it is. But in Publix, it's a different culture. And then I would up and then she complimented my t-shirt. Is it something we had a little conversation, but that's Publix for you. And that comes from the culture of being obviously paid substantially more than Walmart, and also having the culture of like the brand. It's like a more neighborhood kind of market. Obviously, it's still a big franchise, it's still a corporation, but they've done a good job of having that brand of it's a good workplace. Like if I had a child, I would prefer him to work at Publix over Walmart any day.
Yeah, it's quality like makes a
Mhm.
big thing. Like, okay, well, Walmart is very convenient for a lot of consumers, and the appeal to it is the price, and
Mhm.
that's very much a lot over it's over like atmosphere,
Mhm.
and that's fine. But Publix for people that have kind of like a higher income, a little bit more like in the middle class, they'll probably find Publix more appealing to actually go for the atmosphere as well, and that's how the money goes in as well. So it's kind of like a win-win situation for them. Like Publix doesn't lose, Walmart doesn't lose either for obvious reasons. But like the atmosphere-wise, Publix does get that like the more high-end art. Like if you compare as well Publix to Target, like I think we could all agree that Target is the place people go just for fun. Like they just go to Target just to waste time sometimes.
Yeah, Target is so random. Like it's Target. It's so random. Like every time I go there, I don't know what I went for, but I come out with a basket full of stuff. It's just so
Yeah.
random. Like
It was designed. I read an article about it, and they literally designed it in a way for you to want to leave. You go outside, you start with like maybe the product skincare aisle. I don't know what it
right.
depends on which way you enter. But it's designed everyone put in a certain place for you to like go from one place to the next, to the next, to the next. And the products are good, the quality is good. Like there's certain appeal to it. It's all psychological.
Sure.
I can't even because I personally don't 100% understand what they did. But they designed this specifically in a way for uh customers to leave with a lot of stuff.
It is true, man. They trick us. They trick us because luckily for my own good, Target isn't that close. It's kind of out of the way. But still, whenever I'm in that area, I find myself in Target and I don't know why. Like, what did I come in here for? It's like I'm just here.
Yeah. So is Marshalls and TJ Maxx. Like
Oh,
a lot of people
yes.
out there.
You,
It's just like
you are speaking the language of my people as Latinos. Latinos have an affinity for Ross, Michaels, not Michaels, Marshalls and TJ Maxx. It's like if you're in a strip mall and those three are there, you're there for like 5 hours. It's insane.
yeah,
And
yeah.
same thing, like you said, it's like, what did I come in here for? And then you end up leaving with something. And it's, yeah, yeah. And you get the illusion that you're saving money, but once they got you in there, you end up spending more. That's the thing that gets me with Publix, for example. Publix has BOGOs, right? They got each week they have buy one get one freeze, and so I shop at Publix obviously because I'm fortunate enough where I can afford it. I'm not uber wealthy, but I can afford to go to Publix, and also because of the culture. Like I said, people aren't in a bad mood. It's just the environment, but also because they have buy one get ones. But I noticed that when I have buy one get ones, I end up rationalizing with myself like, oh, I can buy that thing I didn't need because I had a buy one get one, and I still end up spending the money in Publix. They still get my money.
Yeah, yeah,
It's insane. And like I said, I
yeah,
like to think I'm too smart for it, but when you look back, it's like, oh, they got me again. I'm only human.
yeah, exactly. What I do right now is because I used to call for these deals anywhere I went, especially if I get them in my emails. I don't even look at the promotion part of my emails, but I get like, if you buy the amount like stuff, you get this for free. And like, that's a bargain. I get something for free, but I'm still spending money. So
Or the free shipping. The free shipping gets me. If it's $25 plus $5 shipping, I don't want it. But if it's $30 free shipping, give it to me. That's
Yeah,
what
but
I'm
the way I
thinking.
think now to avoid that is just like, okay, let's say I'm going out shopping and I see something cute, like, I don't know, pair of shoes or anything, and I'm just like, it says get buy one, get another one half off or something.
Mhm.
I would look at my own stuff, what I already have, going back to the minimalism, maximalism thing. I
Mhm.
look at what I already have in my closet and see exactly if I need more than just like the one pair of shoes,
Yeah.
like a same pair of boots. I already have like two, three, four other pairs of boots. Do I need to get the other one for half off just for the sake of the sale? And that's how I like rationalize things, like because you're still spending the money even if it's not as much, and
Yeah.
you're still getting more stuff to put in your closet, and you already have stuff that you already put money on before
Mhm.
that are still in good condition. So there's like things to factor on as well. Like even like with women go to uh like Victoria's Secret or Pink
Mhm.
or like these places that always deals happening, and you buy one from this, you get another one, uh buy two get two free, or buy I don't know how many. There's all these deals, and it's the same thing. Like rationalizing, like do you really need that or not? And if you do need it, then it is a good deal. Like you can't always avoid deals. Like sometimes it really is a good deal for you, even if you end up spending $100, it will last you a long time. Then that's the way I look at it in terms of being a consumer. But you do have to watch out for things because you can fall for them and you can end up going broke for no reason.
Yeah, you end up having a garage sale and you don't get not even nearly enough back from what you wasted. Like what I end up having to do more than anything is go to Goodwill and I donate a lot of stuff because it's like either I lost a lot of weight where it doesn't fit me anymore, or I don't need it anymore. And I have to make room in my closet. I have to like donate shirts or shorts or something like that. I'm not a big shoe person. I'm just like three shoes. Like if I have a black shoe, a white shoe, and a workout shoe, I'm good. But as far as like t-shirts, I find myself buying a lot of t-shirts because I like graphics. You know, the graphic, the t-shirt graphics. This is witty. This is nice. This speaks to me. I end up buying it, and then it's like, why did I buy it? I do not need this, and end up giving it away to Goodwill to donate it, right? But that's something that do you as a designer do you like have to turn your brain off and be like not think about it like when you go to a place do you kind of like are you like casing the joint if you will are you kind of looking at the logo or something like that like this is this is trying to say that or you just kind of turn your brain off when you're off work.
So you mean when I go out in the world and I see
Yeah,
a logo like
yeah,
yeah.
do you think like oh what why did they have this logo why this logo why this and that do you do that or you just kind of like shut it off because you're off the clock.
So recently I went to a networking event, and in the networking event they were talking about uh organization that's local here, and like the cause of the organization is really good. It's also sad, it's for homeless kids.
Mhm.
They've taken homeless kids, they help them, they do all these great things for them. When I really heard the story, like, um, I had to ignore that their logo was not a good one for me as a designer.
Yeah.
Their logo, it doesn't represent them as much as it should. So I do learn to distinguish that yes, there's still a mission behind this uh,
Mhm.
brand, even if it's not a good brand. I can't always like be like it's not a good logo. I can't like always do that because
Of course.
there are some businesses that just don't. They either don't really need it, like they're already doing really well, or and it's for a lot of business it is really like I'm not gonna lie, even though um it's my job to make money off of this thing. Um, a lot of businesses are already doing well without a logo, and to them, it's like if they just did the branding and they
Mhm.
improve the branding, could be just like buying a designer bag, like equivalent to somebody buying a designer bag just for it to look prettier on the outside. So in certain cases, like it isn't that necessarily need it. And that's why there's research to be done behind it to see if they actually do need it. Like if somebody's taking in a lot of uh, money from the outside world to help other people, then it's not like they're making money uh, through selling services or selling products, and they want more customers to come in and pay them more so that they can benefit. So we're trying to help others benefit. So it really depends on the situation. It depends
Mhm.
on the business, on what their purpose is. They're trying to do it for their own, for themselves, for their own business, for product. So many factors come into play when it comes to that. So yeah, I do have to turn off my brain every once in a while and just
Mhm.
ignore it. Even a website, if it doesn't look good to me, I'm just like not enjoying the process and I can't take it seriously sometimes. But let's say it's a government website. I can't do anything about that. I still have to use it. So you have to
Yeah.
put a lot of things off.
Oh, geez. Now I'm worried that my design for the video presentation isn't gonna be up to par. You're gonna be like, yeah, that color scheme is off. That color scheme, that pattern doesn't work here. I'm kind of worried now. So
No, I'm not that nitpicky. It's not really like I think, for example, your logo is good. I didn't see any issue with the P.
yeah, I
It
mean,
looks
just the
good.
persona podcast, double P. I mean, it's
Yeah,
English. It's just like you said, it's minimalist. It's just black and white. That's the way I want the characters to bring the color. I'm trying to be all posh about it. I'm trying to act like it was all designed with a purpose, right? Let the characters bring their own color to the bland layout or whatever. But no, that's just that colors. I mean, obviously, my favorite color is actually green, like dark green. But I wanted to make it a neutral color, like you said, it's black and white. Something
yeah.
neutral.
If I go back just to the topic we're talking about organization, their logo did have potential. Like I saw that they were trying to do something with the letters. Like there was Y and then there was like two C's
Mhm.
and kind of looked like a butterfly. So it had a lot of potential, but it wasn't there yet. So like I do notice that sometimes there are ideas that we're trying to represent it. And they just needed like better execution to actually make it.
Yeah, like a butterfly, I think it symbolizes new life, right? If I'm not mistaken. Do you delve like also as far as like animals, like for brands and logos? Is that something? So like everything, I mean, it's all your canvas when you're designing something, right? Animals, things like that. That's also something you delve into.
I mean, if it's a way for it to be of like a symbolism, like a metal logo or brass, then yes, I've done it before. I haven't done it for a client, I don't believe, but it's just not happened with client. But I did use it for a personal project that I did
Mm.
in college, where I designed an application called Wander, and I utilized the W and turned it like into a butterfly. It's on my website, so you can see it over there. And the concept of the app was uh, to wander. Basically, it's an app where it suggests to you places based off of your preferences, which you can use it wherever you are, locally, or if you're traveling, it's based off of your preferences and things you like, and the data it takes from you. Um, it will suggest to you places to visit. And I called the app Wander, and I wanted the butterfly to be the symbol of wonder for that reason, because the butterflies like to like
Yeah,
go.
yeah, 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 and it's very elegant too. It's very like it's like almost like a rhythm. It's the way they wander. Yeah, it's interesting. And that
Yeah,
was just a personal project for school.
yeah,
Oh, that's cool. So like you with school, it wasn't so much like book stuff. It was like it's like an interactive kind of thing because you're doing design, right?
yeah. All of our projects in college for the actual design classes, like studio classes, are really like that. We don't really like read anything. It's just like online. We don't do a lot of that. Everything we do is projects. So unless it's like introduction to graphic design, history of graphic design, art history or something like that. We don't usually discuss 3D projects, and
Mhm.
they're really critique based. So it depends on the class. But usually we have like 3 big projects per class, and it goes out throughout the semester. We take turns of students to showcase the first stage of our work for a certain project the professor gives us, and we have to each do our own version of it.
Mhm.
And we're going to get critiques by the professor about the project. And sometimes the critiques are very harsh,
Mhm.
or from like students in the class. And then there's we take all of the information we receive, we make revisions, and then there's the second critique, and then there's the third, and then we reach the final project, and then we get graded based on the final result.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like compare us for like life situations of like clients, because
Mhm.
we have to we don't always get it done from the first time. That's why there's revisions involved when you're working with the clients, because you can't always just get it right from the get-go. Like you
Yeah.
get their feedback, you take their feedback, you make the changes, um, or if you don't agree with their feedback in some sense and you believe that there's a different direction that could be better, you can show several options. And
Mm.
then they kind of like decide, I guess, which one they like more until you get to the final one. But usually it's about 3 revisions. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, like on a different, obviously a different level. I had a friend who was a tattoo artist, and it's like he would only because you can only argue with so much as far as the customer, right? Because the customer is going to be right, and when they're satisfied, they're satisfied. And if he thought something wasn't feasible, like a design, he would try to tell him, like, I don't think that looks, but if you want it, okay, fine. Do you feel like sometimes that's something that you have to do as a graphic designer? Or is it like a position that obviously you don't want to be in it because you want to believe in what you created. You want to be behind it and put your hard work into it. So you want to believe in it and you want to feel like you did the best job possible. But sometimes you got to kind of just be like, okay, if you're happy with it, if that's what you want, that's what you want. You have to sometimes kind of do that.
It really depends also on the budget. You cannot, designers can't always give um, 120% if the amount they charge is not for 120%, it's for 80%.
Okay.
And the client's usually aware of that and they're okay with it. And if they're okay with it, then like this is sometimes what you get, you know? And as designers, we do want to give that 120% every time, but we do also have to think about our time and our energy and where it's going. And if there's a client that's going to pay the budget that you want to set, for example, for a brand design, and you're going to only set up this budget or more, then you have to put your energy into that client that's more and give
Yep.
them the 120 for the value that you're getting and of your creativity and your effort to make it 30%. And sometimes not every designer accepts like um lower budget work. Um, but sometimes it just happens, I guess, and they just accept that they let a few clients specify or like that. Some clients, some designers, I mean, depending on where they live and market that they're living in, they're forced to charge less, and it's maybe the circumstances of the country and the salaries. Like in
Yep.
Lebanon, the salaries are low,
Hmm.
so they'll give 100%, but if the client requests too many changes, then they have to charge extra. And they don't. This is what it is.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's one thing. But uh, going back also to if I've ever had to like I showed them my idea that I think is a better option, and they said no to it, then I have to work with that what they prefer more and change it, make changes to it to make it the best version of this style. If you
Of
know,
course.
like if they pick one font that they like more as well as another font, they're slightly very different. Like one is more handwritten and calligraphic, and the other one is more of a serif font. And they picked, and I personally think that the serif font works better for their brand and what I use. but they prefer to have a more feminine calligraphic style,
Yeah.
then I'll improve the calligraphic style to a point that it stands out, that it works great. And I've done that before. So, and I ended up being very proud of the work anyways. It was still my work because I still made changes to it, and I didn't
Mhm.
just leave the font as it was. I changed it and did focus on tiny details to the point where it really suited the brand. So yeah.
Like, and how hard is it to be satisfied with like like the smallest detail, for example, obviously on a smaller scale, just as a hobby. I have an iPad too, and I make like t-shirt designs. And sometimes I get so stuck on the font, and I'm shuffling back between 3 fonts, and they look very similar, and I'm just stuck on it for, like, 30 minutes. Like, is that something you have to overcome, or is that something you still have to deal with, like, it's the smallest little detail, like, "Ah, no, it's not perfect yet. This one doesn't fit. This one's better. This one's better," or do you just kinda go, "Okay, you know what? This one."
So I have a lot of fonts on my desktop, and I
Mhm.
have so many different resources where I download so many free fonts.
Mhm.
And because of how much I have, I just like look through what I already have first, especially uh, the client that doesn't have a specific uh, style when it comes to the actual letters, the word mark, as opposed to like the concept. Like if you the concept is there, but it could go in any direction font-wise, then I look at what I have first and see what I can work with from what I already have. And then if I'm not satisfied with what I already have, I'll look for fonts similar to it that I think really like I can make a few adjustments to it and it can really be what the look of this is. And I've what I've done in the past for one of the logos that I designed is I mixed three fonts together and I made it the logo. So
3 fonts together. Oh, that's I mean, of course you did.
yeah, I did not like certain letters within one font, but I liked the font overall. And I did like a few letters in a different font, and then another font that had certain like the I was kind of like a diamond or something. There was a few differences, or like the E was more curved. It was more interesting. So I just like picked what I liked from each one, put it together, and then I made adjustments for the data, and they look like they were wrong.
Check you out. That's cool. That's like I wouldn't even thought of that's what's up. Yeah, just like it's like a compromise with
Yeah.
yourself, you know?
Yeah, we used to do it a lot of times, and you can tell that one letter is not exactly the same as the rest,
Mhm.
but it's usually on purpose. Like it's the point of it, it's
Yeah.
to show that like something that's striking and different.
It's unique.
But yeah,
It's,
yeah.
I don't think I've probably seen it, but I probably didn't notice it, but because I wouldn't have thought about that.
Like for example, one project I did called I did that as a test project for a job I was applying to, but I ended up being so happy with it that
Mhm.
I put it in my portfolio. So it's called freelance, and that's the project I chose three different fonts to put together and made changes to it, adjusted things, and
Mhm.
made it look like this one.
We
So
definitely have to. We're gonna link the portfolio in the bio when this goes on YouTube. We're gonna link that too because that's dope. That's crazy, man. That's like, and by dope I mean that's good. I don't know how the colloquialism is over there, but dope, really good. You know, dope is bad. Dope is bad, but dope means really good. All right, that's just so you know. Just so you know. No, but like,
yeah, I
like,
know.
like, when did you growing up? Like, when did you say, or did you have the inkling of like graphic design? That's where I want to go. Branding. Like, at what age do you feel like were you drawing as a little kid? Were you doing something like that? Were you drawing on your walls? Were you decorate like yeah, yes, like what was it? All of those things. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah.
I used to be really into drawing when I was a kid. I would draw mostly like female figures, like female faces. They kind of look like Bratz dolls a little bit.
Oh, the
I was
Bratz
really
dolls. I remember those. I didn't play with these.
still like
I didn't play with them. Stop asking about it. I didn't play with them, but I do remember the
yeah,
Bratz dolls. Yeah, yeah. Interesting.
yeah. So I used to do like cartoon females. It
Okay.
wasn't like anything like a female figure, like anything as a kid. I used to draw like cartoon like
Yeah.
girl faces and all that. And I got really into drawing. I enjoyed it. I even started to draw horses. Like I drew stuff when I was a kid that I don't even know how to draw now. But I didn't like stick to it. But I get to draw things that look grown up with. I'm really good at like, drawing faces as well. I think when I was 13 or 15, I drew like was requested by my professor. I'm sorry, my Arabic teacher in high school to draw the principal of the school, and I did, and like I had a whole big portrait of him, and I wanted a self portrait at the start of college. It was really good. So yeah, I was really into drawing. I really like art. Art was like my escape. Art class. In art class, I was always get great grades, and like teacher really liked me. She really loved me. Like wow, look at her work. Like I was always like I was even invited like once to paint live in an art show at high school, and I literally painted like a whole canvas of people walking by to see other students' work.
Wow.
So, yeah, I was really into it. I had put together a really creative side growing up, and I like reading a lot. I was more into fiction when I was a kid than I am now, but I would let my imagination take me to the place.
Mm. So when did that translate over into like I'm going to do brands like in college? Because like you went from doing art, right? Like art, what the average person knows as art, right? Like the average person
Yeah.
or me knows art. That's what you were doing, right? Like right, art, right? And then you went to a different prism, a different side of art, and in the form of brands and stuff.
So I always had like a journal or a sketchbook. I just had a book that I would like write things that or drew things I liked. Whether I was doodling or I was sketching or like anything I was doing, I just had this book that I would like. I couldn't like not doodle or sketch. So when it came to when I was in grade 12 and it came to the time to pick what you want to do for college, before you get into college.
Which is
I was
crazy,
really,
right? It's crazy that at
yeah,
a young age, it's like not what do you want to do for the rest of your life? You know, at the age of 18,
yeah,
which is crazy. It's
yeah,
crazy, but yeah,
yeah,
sorry, continue.
yeah. So I was like thinking about what I wanted to do, and then I looked at the fact that I like to draw a lot, and I want to do something creative, but also make money out of it.
Mhm,
So one of the options, just because it seemed like the most practical, I guess,
mhm.
was architecture because you could still draw buildings, but it's not as creative. It's just like more you just have to draw buildings. There's like principles that come with that. There's a certain science, I guess, behind it because the buildings have to actually be functional.
Mhm.
Um, and then I did a research. I was like, what could I do where I could be creative? And also, maybe I want to learn how to be creative digitally.
Mhm.
And I found the name for it. And after doing my research, I realized it's called graphic design.
Mhm.
So that's how I came upon graphic design. I don't know what the term for it was. I just wanted to use my creativity, but use it in the real world, like as communication, solve realistic problems. I wanted to be functional. I didn't want to just do paint, do art, and
Mhm.
like feel like I don't have enough to contribute
Mhm.
other than like emotions or like inspiration. I wanted it to actually be taken seriously. So actually, I realized graphic design was like that way I could still stay in the business world.
Yeah, yeah, because you're helping business establish its identity, right? Or recapture it, or revamp it, or make maybe something
Yeah,
happens where they want to go a different direction, or they're barely starting. So you're helping business. I mean, it's the backbone of a business. That's the first interaction that people have, right? The brand.
yeah. I was so curious. I was really curious about uh, working on computers and doing things digitally, like doing that in art digital. So I was like, okay, I could learn this in college.
Yeah.
And I just, yeah, I didn't know how to do a lot of stuff I did. Like, I didn't know anything about Illustrator, Photoshop, none of that. I didn't know
Wow.
any design. So everything I learned in college, even though you don't really need to go to college to learn because there's lots of courses out there now. But um, to me, it was like, yeah, I know I want to do that, and I'll learn as I go, and I learned
Mhm.
as I did it. So yeah.
So like for the normie out there, what's the best like simple to use kind of like program? Like Adobe or what's the best one to use? That's pretty simple.
Uh, I don't think calling them simple is the right thing to call them because they're not exactly simple
Yeah,
at first.
yeah, I've tried Adobe. Adobe's pretty complicated to me.
Yeah, that's them are really simple when you're using them for the first time.
Yeah, of
There-
course.
There's a learning curve over there, and unless somebody explains it to you, or you watch a tutorial or something, you just have to try to experiment with yourself. But I would say Adobe is the best. It's not necessarily the easiest, but Adobe is the best tool out there, and the best software of
Mhm,
umbrella tools. It has like everything from Illustrator to Photoshop. So like anything a graphic designer could use, a video editor, even a photographer. Photographers usually use a lot Photoshop and Lightroom. Designers use Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. Um, People that do animation and motion graphics, they go more into After Effects and Premiere Pro, and
mhm,
videographers use Premiere Pro
mhm,
as well. So there's like something for every creative, and I mostly use InDesign, Photoshop. I use Illustrator the most. Illustrator is the platform for creating vectors.
mhm,
So that's for vectors. Photoshop is for pixels, for images mostly. And InDesign is mostly for layouts. So if
mhm.
you're doing like a book design layout, like the inside of a book, and placing text and images and all
Yeah,
that.
the spot.
Design.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
okay, okay. And
yeah,
do you like surround yourself with like-minded like creatives like in that field?
yeah. I have a lot of different connections. They're all lots of designers I know. A lot of other workers as well get inspired.
Mhm. So as far as
I think the easiest,
mhm. Continue, sorry, continue. Mhm,
the easiest tool for anyone to use is Canva. But Canva, just because you use Canva, it doesn't mean that you created a good design.
mhm,
So when a designer uses Canva, then they can use a tool that's easy and it's easy for a client to edit, but they create the design. They actually know what they're doing as a design. They actually know how it's supposed to look for the brands, and then they hand it off to the um, client, and it's easy for them to just edit the text, for example, if they want to do social media posts. So Canva is I guess, the easiest one. But it's not exactly the most effective one in
yeah,
every single thing.
it's more the Spark Notes version of designing. It's kind of like it makes it simple. It kind of like dumbs it down a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, okay, I got you. Yeah, because like me, I do buzz art. You probably never heard of it as a designer. It's called buzz art. the, the shaking of disapproval.
Never heard of it, but I'm just to prove I'm just like,
Yeah, it's very simplistic, and that's what I do myself. That's how I did my logo. That's how I did the layout of this video screen that you'll see when it's published. That's why I do all my stuff. You know, it's just pretty simple. It's very yeah, and that,
let me express.
mhm.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Let me
Adobe.
express like
Yep. Hmm.
Adobe version of Canva. So
Adobe Express. Okay.
yeah, they created something similar to Canva as well.
So that's for the normies. That's like if you're barely starting, you want to get your feet wet, or you don't want to deep dive into
Yeah.
it. Okay, so that's what you.
If you're not a designer and you just want something cute to be designed real quick and you want to do it yourself, then
Adobe Express. There you
yeah.
go. Yeah. From Sabrina's mouth, Adobe Express. Interesting. That's dope, man. That's dope. Like I said, when I came across the profile, like I said, the things that stood out to me was the way that you were not just like, "Give me your money. I'm such a badass. Here's my work." No, it was like, "No, let's relax. Let's see where this is gonna go. Let's see what we can do, and actually even know what a brand is. You know, a brand is a brand. You know, it's not just a logo." So that was really interesting, and that's something that I think has to take note. Like, do you feel like other creators are that way too in graphic design, or is it like everyone's different? Obviously.
It's hard to say because I've seen so many graphic designers. I've seen so many from Lebanon. I've seen so many online immigrant designers. There's a lot of designers that know what they're doing.
Mhm.
They know exactly the value of having research, and they don't stop doing it. They don't stop doing it. It's like either a full brand or nothing. They
Mhm.
don't
Okay, so
have the it's not.
what would a
So
full
then
brand be?
a full brand would be the brand strategy I mentioned before, the mission statement, values, all that, learning everything about the brand and who they're trying to target,
Mhm.
and its personality. And then you have the logos. Um, you basically have the main logo, and then you have other versions of the same logo, but they just look a little bit different and they fit in different places. Like the main logo may not fit as an icon, like for your website,
Yep.
or it may not fit on certain places on a product. So you create variations of the same logo just to like fit in different places. So that's like for different versions of the same logo. And then you have the things like the brand pattern. It's just a pattern that just like sophisticates the entire brand even more. There's the brand guidelines, the do's and don'ts of the brand, basically, like where your logo should sit, what the colors of the logo are, the exact colors, like the hex codes. The hex codes tell you exactly what shade of color it is and what can be used. If you have a web designer, for example, wants to create your website, they know exactly what colors you use for the brand itself to make it match with different.
So so you're essentially creating like the DNA for it so that someone else can come and
Yeah,
continue. Oh, okay, so like color schemes, things like that. Um,
typography, exactly the name and the styles of the fonts.
so that's like a whole marketing campaign, really. I mean, that's it's not just here's a logo and have a good day. It's oh wow, that's great. That's commendable.
Yeah, and then you can add things like mock-up or brand, I mean, business cards. And it really depends on what the client also needs. So there's so many things that go into it, and we create an entire presentation for it, and that's like something they can try and keep, and they can like have any other people they hire for anything else. They have all that information there, like it's
Mm.
theirs to use. Yeah.
So when you create a logo or a brand, is there any copyright on your end, or is it the clients because they paid for it? Is it do they own all the rights to it?
So most designers, I won't say all, because I don't know, but I know that most designers will leave the source file for themselves. They not give out the source file because because a lot of like clients end up just taking the source file and giving it to another designer to that will charge them less
Uh,
to make things.
huh.
So what most designers do is okay, we're done with the work. We'll give you the PNGs, the PDF,
Mhm.
um, the JPEGs. These are all they can all be used to, to actually create.
Yeah, everything.
Whatever.
Yep. Yep. Mm.
Yeah. Well, and some cases you do have to give the source file, but it I think it's like it depends. Like could be either you like talk to, let's say, the person that creates signs for them. Sometimes people that create the signages, they need the actual source file. You could like stay in contact with the person creating the signage and give them the source file yourself instead of just handing it over to the client. And
Mhm.
not every place needs the source file. So in most cases, I would avoid giving out the source file, but sometimes you have to. You just have to, like, I guess,
Mm.
hope that they don't just, you know.
You kind of got to
But
get
it sounds
the
like,
vibe of the person.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So pretty much,
Wow.
you get everything in a file, all of the different formats that are needed, and the brand presentation. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's the the basis of it, basically.
What do you feel like your customer field you mostly consist of? Like restaurants, entrepreneurs, creating clothing. Like, what do you feel like you kind of work with the most?
Um, I currently, or in the past year and a half that I've worked with all the clients that I did, I haven't had a specific field that
Mhm.
I thought more of.
Mhm.
I think the most I did was branding, but I even did a few different other projects that were outside of branding and from different fields. I've had literally like a restaurant owner reach out to me, and I did for him his logo menu. And then I did branding for a beauty salon. I did logo for her without the full branding because she just needed the logo. I some added a few steps in there because it was essential for me to do that. Create the mood boards as well. We didn't talk about the mood boards are
Mhm.
kind of like what get the inspiration going. I'm looking for the right inspiration and showing it to the client after you're done with asking them the questions. And it's the stuff that happens before you actually start designing. So yeah, and I had a book cover I did as well for an author. Um,
Do you have to read the book to make a good book cover?
no, his book wasn't even done when I
Oh wow.
he started.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a completely different concept when
Mhm.
we started. We started with one idea, and we had to design the cover 3 times because his ideas kept changing with the
Yeah.
book, and we
Yeah.
wanted
Yeah.
it to be. Yeah, until we reached the final one. So I didn't really read the book, but he gave me a summary of it and like the
Okay.
first chapter, and that's pretty much what I read. I got the idea of it, the basis, and that's how we created the cover.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah. So no wonder you talked about books and covers. So you did book covers. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I did do a book cover. I've also worked with a web developer before.
Mhm.
He did branding and then the web design. He wanted to create he's a web developer, to create the websites.
Mhm.
So I've had different projects, different views.
All right. So Sabrina is about to get started on a new project, right? So what does she do? Does she get her coffee? Does she get the headphones? Does she get the music in the apartment, the workspace? Like, what's your routine as far as starting like from scratch?
So yeah, I started my day by making the coffee, having breakfast.
You want hot or ice? Like,
In the wintertime, I usually get hot. If it's hot, in the summertime, I'll get the cold. So it depends on the weather.
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now I'm having hot coffee, but in the
Yeah.
summer I'll have a cold.
Yeah.
Um, so I already have my laptop like usually set up.
Mhm.
And, the stand, I'm probably sticking the laptop stand.
Yep.
And uh, the way I start with a client is we go and have a meeting first, where we talk about everything. And after I get the idea of it, I go do my research. And after we're done with the research, I show him the mood boards. And when we're done with that, then I start designing. And that doesn't all happen in one day. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of like it's out between several days sometimes. And And when that happens, I also have other work to do. So I would sometimes work on multiple clients, or I'd be working on my own brand as well at the same time. So I'm doing different things every single day.
Mm.
Different things every day. Uh, I did like I'm working currently like with a sign place in somebody I know in Michigan, and if he gets clients that need help with their logos, I'll work on logos and then send him file. And that's how I was talking about that with as well. Right?
Yeah.
And he creates signage for him. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you feel like sorry. Huh? Yeah.
Yes, every day is a little bit different. Sometimes I'm maybe watching new courses. I'm working on my LinkedIn, website, my my Alta, or I'm looking for the sources out there and learning something. And also I'm working on my client search, trying to get clients participants. Also getting clients is not always easy. You have to go to all the networking events. You have to make yourself known, do your own marketing. It's like a one-man army, if you want. Like you have to do
Yep.
everything.
I mean, you're essentially the business. You're your business, right? You're your small business. You are the small business, so you have to do it all from the ground up. You have to do your own
Yeah,
brand, right? Your own. You're working on your own brand always because your work speaks for itself. So your brand is
yeah,
ever evolving, right? So
yeah.
because of COVID, do you feel like it made it a bit like obviously we had to evolve from it. I think this podcast, this format would not have been possible without COVID because COVID made it so easily and so normal to have, these kind of meetings, virtual camera things, right? It made it so practical. Do you feel like because of COVID, it became like easier to get clients over the internet or over online kind of work, or how did that affect it, you think?
Uh, I'm not really sure because I just graduated during COVID
Mm,
and I
okay.
didn't really start working on my clients
Okay.
until I finished my master's. So I did my master's as well, and I finished in May of 2022, and
Mhm.
then I started getting texts.
Okay.
And I thought I was going to go and like right away get a full-time job and just work for someone, like right off the bat. So I realized it doesn't really work like that. It's not really good.
Yeah.
It's not that easy to get a job like that, especially if you only have educational experience, not enough full-time experience already existing.
Mhm.
So that's when I took on freelancing. When I started getting a few jobs here and there, I tried really hard. I I accepted at first whatever prices because I was just getting started, and there were some people, friends of mine that was working with, I took little to no money from as well, and I kept working on it. I kept trying and trying, especially when I was in Lebanon. I would go to events. I would start to get more confidence speaking to people and putting myself out there. And I did lots of uh, tests for design jobs that I was getting interviewed for.
Mhm.
All of that like creates a lot of experience, I think, and how to deal with clients, how to talk to people, even in interviews if you want to work for somebody else. Um, all of that like added to my experience to where I am now. And I think it's only like now that it's really getting better. Because before I felt like I was really like in a lot of different spots. Like especially I didn't know in America like a year ago when I was here how to really um put myself out there, and I thought I would just have to do it online, like apply on Upwork or just like do ads on Instagram. I realized that it's not the only way, and it's not necessarily the most effective way because there's so many people out there just like you doing the same thing.
Mhm.
And
Of course.
like, why sh- why should I pick you over somebody else? Like they don't know who you are.
Mhm.
So you have to make yourself known one way or the other. And I realized I really needed to go out there and let people know that this is who I am. And if they need somebody needed work, then they told them about me and get referrals and word of mouth. and
Mhm.
all that. So that's kind of how I started getting work. I would start getting them as well from like networking apps. So I did get it some work online, but it was never really from like Upwork or those like websites online. But usually people I put in the effort to network with. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, because nothing is gonna make a person want to come to you like someone's recommendation. Like you can hear about a restaurant, but until the person, someone that you know, tells you, "Oh, that restaurant is good," you're gonna go. If you see ads for that restaurant, you might not go. It looks pretty good. Who knows? But if someone you know, oh yeah, the restaurant's good, just go there. You're gonna go there. You're gonna go there tomorrow. So there's nothing like word of mouth. Similar to our situation over here. I have a landscaping company, and my father doesn't do it. I remember when I was younger, he did do a little bit of business cards, but he stopped doing it. And business is still good, thankfully, from word of mouth and recommendations. Like for example, about a year ago, we got this one property in the community, and now a year later, we have 7 properties in that same community. All it took was one to get us in there, into the gate, literally. And now there's 7 properties that we maintain in that community because the work speaks for itself and that word of mouth. Like you can advertise a lot, but when someone recommends you, the work speaks for itself. So you networking, that's awesome. That's awesome that you did that and doing it the way you did it. You said that you were in Lebanon for most of your life, which is crazy. Your English is really good. Did you learn that in Lebanon, your English, or was that something that you took on when you came to America, like classes or just being with Americans or around Americans? Like, how did your English evolve? Because it's pretty good.
the education system in Lebanon is really good.
Mhm.
I think it's way tougher than the one here. So the education system is really advanced over there. And most people either learn, aside from Arabic, they learn French or they learn English. So
Mhm.
I went to a school with English.
Mhm.
And I knew how to speak English since I was a kid. Even when I was in Romania, I went to a really good school as well. And then we were only allowed to speak English, even though we were in Romania.
Mhm.
It was an international school. And it just kind of like stuck with me. Like I would end up speaking 3 languages, like making up my own language, speaking a word in English, a word in Arabic, and a word in Romanian together.
Jeez.
So
And that
yeah,
carried over into the fonts, huh?
yeah, that's yeah. I was way with my parents. Like
Sure.
I wanted, I would say, let's say I want like the I don't know a word in Arabic. I'm saying the pants. I'll say the pantalon, which is in
Mhm.
Arabic. And then something in Romanian, like right here, what's Aish?
Aight. Right here. Aight.
Yeah.
Aight.
So, well, like,
Oh, wow.
and English was the language I was always best at. I guess I always read everything in English. I was better at it than I was in Arabic. I didn't really learn how to read in Arabic and write in it until I was like, I think 10 years old.
Mm.
So that's how I'm really good at it. I'm better at English than I am at both spoken and written Arabic. So even though I'm really good at spoken Arabic, but there are certain words and like the written version that I just don't understand.
Yeah, because isn't the writing like reverse? Isn't it like right to left?
Yeah, but it's not because of that. It's because, uh, like I said, spoken Arabic, like from whichever region you're from, it's not. It's the plain version of the written. There's an Arabic like almost like professional, like
Uh-huh.
grammarly correct Arabic, whereas spoken is like as if you're talking to your friends. So
But
it's not.
but if you're writing a friend in Arabic and you're speaking slang, you could still write slang, right? If you guys understand it
Yeah,
amongst
but
yourselves.
it wouldn't be grammatically correct.
I mean, well, I mean, God forbid, but I mean, if you're writing your friends, I mean, it doesn't have to be grammatically correct, right? If it's like a friend.
Well, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be, but it's not the like if you go into an Arabic class and you show them the weird things to your friends, like
Yeah, of course, of course.
it would not be right. It would be like saying I ain't going to the store or something. I don't know.
The American came out right there. I ate going to the store. Yeah. Wow. No, that's interesting. Wow, because like to me, I mean, I like to say when I don't understand something, I like to say it's all French to me, but I mean, really, Arabic is more obviously more complex than French to me. It's uber complex. So like to me, the writing, the reading, the speaking, it's crazy. It's crazy to me. And obviously here in America, born and raised in America, we don't. I mean, you're offered like French or Spanish for like two classes, and they're like mediocre classes. They're not even that hard. It's just like it's really a free class. You're just messing around, but it's not encouraged to learn another language. Like over there in Europe or in Lebanon, for example, it's encouraged. It's you have to learn multiple languages.
Yeah, I understand. I know what you mean. I there was when I was in college in Central,
Mhm.
um, which was in Connecticut. There was the option to take. It was actually required to take an extra language,
Mhm.
but I chose not to do that, and I showed them that I know how to speak Arabic. Like I wish I didn't. I wish I like took Spanish or something. I thought it'd be
Mhm.
interesting.
Mhm.
But at the time, I was like, I don't want to learn a new language, and I thought that I could like take a different course instead, or just like have those credits. Like, okay, I already know Arabic. That's 3 credits for free, but it was not. I still have to choose another class.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think it depends also on the university. I can't speak for high school because I never went to high school here.
Yeah, I'm speaking
Um,
about high school. High school is just it's a free
yeah,
class. It's just messing around. You take Spanish or French. You don't really learn too much. I mean, obviously, if you push yourself to learn, you can utilize the stuff they give you and learn substantially. For example, like us Mexicans, instead of taking French and being ambitious, we always take Spanish because it's like an easy A, in high school. It's just like we already know Spanish, but we're learning the more proper Spain Spanish, if anything, but it's still an easy A essentially.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, but that's something that to me it was really interesting. Like, like because I didn't want to assume that you were Latina, but I was like, is she Latina? Like, but it's like, no, you're not Latina. So I'm happy I didn't start speaking Spanish to you. Yeah, that's why I was.
I'm flattered. I guess like Shakira is half Latino. She's half Lebanese, so why not?
No, she's really. I did not know that. She's
Yeah, her
Lebanese.
dad's and her mom is Colombian.
Oh wow! And I'm a Shakira fan since I was like 10. Really? I did not know she was
Yeah,
Lebanese.
yeah, yeah.
You taught me something. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think she speaks Arabic. Well, like she's not that close to the Lebanese roots, but she does love the Lebanese and she's visited several times. But I think her dad is very like he's a Lebanese native, but he
Mhm.
kind of like maybe moved out of Lebanon when he was young or something. I don't really know the backstory, but he's more like Colombianized. You know what I mean?
Wow, I did not. I had no idea. That's crazy. That's lovely. I mean, look at hey, there you go, there you go, Shakira. There you go. That's a good role model, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you know any Spanish?
Yeah.
No, just hola.
I don't.
That's it.
Is poquito in Spanish?
Poquito. Yeah, a little bit. Yes, yes. Poquito Spanish. Poco. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, depending on where you live in America, it's quite useful, because in the States there's a lot of Latinos,
If
whether
there's any
talking about
Spanish, the music I listen to.
what's that?
If there's any Spanish I know, it's from the music I listen to.
Oh, which music? I mean, Shakira, obviously she's a national hero, but what other music do you listen to?
Um, I think Jennifer Lopez sings in Spanish. I don't know if Casey sings anything in Spanish, so
Que
that's
hiciste? Yeah. What did you do? Yeah, que hiciste? What did you do?
okay. So
Well, I mean, she was Selena. Have you seen her in Selena?
yeah, I did. I think I did watch the movie. Yeah,
Yeah, she was in Selena.
yeah, I was really sad. Watching.
Oh yeah, tearjerker. I always have to skip the end. It just it's yeah. It's that's a whole nother tragedy amongst itself. It's something that, and then, but I mean, a lot of people criticize her because she's what we call a no sabo, like no sabo, because like when you don't know something, you're supposed to say no sé, right? But no sabo is like a wrong way to say it. So like when an Americanized Hispanic person doesn't speak Spanish properly, they're called a no sabo kid. So Jennifer Lopez, she got criticized a lot for not speaking Spanish properly because she doesn't speak it. She speaks it kind of choppy. It doesn't sound very good. It's not fluent at all. So like in that movie, it's actually funny because Selena herself also didn't speak Spanish properly because she was Mexican American and she was born and raised here. So it's actually she fit the character quite well.
Yeah.
No, but that's a tearjerker. That's a tearjerker movie. That one right there. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I watched it.
you watched it in Lebanon?
No, I watched it when I was a student here back in like 2016.
Oh, 2016. Well, yeah, I watched that. That was trauma for me since the age of like I think 10. That's when I first saw it. And every time you watch it, it's always the same roller coaster. But like in Lebanon, uh-huh. Sorry, continue.
No, Selena before that, I think. I don't even know how I found out about her. I think it was through social media, but I didn't know she existed before that.
Yeah, because you said 2016. That's pretty recent. It's pretty recent. I think there might have been a series coming out. That's why there was also a lot of publicity.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Do you enjoy her music?
I think I've only listened to it a few times, but I think I found out about her maybe because people were cosplaying as her or wearing her outfits for Halloween or something.
Yeah,
It's been a big reason because I noticed a lot of uh, Hispanic women that did that. They getting their outfits. Yeah.
are there a lot of Latinos where you're at?
Reading them everything.
Yep, yep.
I haven't noticed. I don't know for sure. I think there's a mix of all kinds of people. There's lots of uh, African Americans. Um, there's lots of white people.
Mhm.
Um, I think there's Hispanic people as well, Latinos. I'm not really sure because I spend most of my time working online anyway.
Yeah.
But the time that I do, it's like um, I never noticed for sure if they is because I would really know if they look French or they look like they were.
Yeah, you don't want to do you don't want to do what they do to you.
Yeah, they're definitely in between us, but I never really noticed.
Yeah, because you don't want to judge them like people judge you. You don't want to assume that they're Latinos. Yeah,
But as a guy at the gym, for example, like he looks Latino, but I never just go up and ask. So
yeah. Are you Latino? No. Yeah, that's wild.
I have no intention of speaking to him, so it doesn't make any sense anyway.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense. It'd be like, why is this random person asking if I'm Latino? What difference is it gonna make? Are you gonna treat me differently?
It's just a way of having to talk.
Yeah, that'd be very random for real. No, it is a funny thing because, like you said, it's like, how do you know? How do you perceive who's who? Because I mean, obviously, I mean, the way life is going, maybe in 100 years, everyone is mixed. Because people are mixing.
Exactly.
And then it's
As well, like it's people. Like, how can you tell if uh, like sometimes they look African American, but one of their parents is either Asian or um, Hispanic.
Mhm.
So you can't just like assume like they're probably from both. You know.
Yeah, yeah, like that's something that my partner at the time, a couple years ago, it was an argument because another debate, but sometimes they turn feisty. But because Austrian and German, right? Because I mean, it was like, wait, so they both speak German, but it's two different countries, two different people. But then, like, how do you know? But she knows. Like when she hears someone talk similar to you with dialect, she would know. She would know. Okay, that person's Austrian. No, that person's German. That person's this and that. But like the blending of culture and people, and like 100 years time, it's all gonna be just a mixture, and you won't even know. You won't even know the difference.
Yeah.
No, but it's a
Definitely.
funny thing. It's a funny thing that I perceive. I like to delve into things like that a lot. And it's like, wait, what? I wonder if that because sometimes I see it myself. Like I'll be wanting to speak Spanish to a person, but I don't know if they're Hispanic. So I kind of just gotta wait till I hear them talk, and once I hear them talk, I'll be like, okay, this person is or this person isn't.
Yeah. Like I have a friend, for example, who is half Lebanese, half Romanian, and so she's basically half Arab, half white.
Mhm,
Um, and to me, she looks Lebanese,
mhm.
but to Romanians, she looks Romanian.
Mm,
So, like, she has like the features, like the colored eyes and the light skin tone and all that. And to me, when I look at her, I feel like her facial structure and her features up close, they don't scream Romanian as much as they scream Lebanese.
mhm,
Especially her style, like she's like really into a certain fashion sense. Like Lebanese women are super extravagant when it comes to fashion.
mm.
So, like, I don't know. A lot of people are mixed. So
Yeah.
you,
Is
uh,
there a connection there between Lebanon and Romania, or she just happened to be Romanian too in Romania too? Or is there a connection like a migration pattern between Lebanon and Romania?
so Lebanese people migrate everywhere.
Okay.
Because of the situation in Lebanon,
Course, of
the
course.
countless political issues we've had, and
It's too much to name. Like I don't know how political you want to get into that, but that's why they didn't. Yeah, sorry, continue. Yeah.
yeah, also the popular enemy as well. So a lot of people in Lebanon get fed up when they live through these traumatic periods of time and the
Mhm.
bad economy and the job crises. So they immigrate to other countries.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so many Lebanese people everywhere.
Mhm.
There's in Romania and Brazil and
Brazil.
yeah, there's a very big Lebanese
That's
population. I think
far. Wow, Brazil. That's a trip.
yeah, I have friends that live in Brazil, and but the president, I think, I don't know.
Mm,
Um, they're spread out everywhere. It's
mhm.
hard to go somewhere to the main source, even in Africa. There's so many of the people in Africa. They take advantage of the economy over there to really make this happen.
Mhm.
So we're spread out everywhere, and it's because I think there's I don't know how accurate it is because there's no specific there's no way to really tell the population of the Lebanese outside of Lebanon because nobody's really taking count.
Yeah,
It's
no sentence.
yeah, there's no census. It's approximated that there's about 10 million Lebanese living outside of Lebanon, and they're spread out in many different countries. And Lebanon itself has a population of about 4 million. So that's more than
Wow.
there's,
Jesus. Yeah, because
they're not
huh? Uh-huh. Continue.
But like not the entire population in Lebanon is Lebanese as well. We have so many Syrian and Palestinian refugees.
Yep, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, a country, Lebanon itself, it has to deal with normal things that a country has to deal with, right? Economically speaking, socially speaking, a lot of things they have to deal with. But on top of that, like you said, you have all the tragedies that have been happening, I think, since I can even remember. Before I can even remember. I mean, you talk about the whole Middle East, but also Lebanon. It's been either it's been affected directly or indirectly since what the 70s, 60s easily. So like it's constantly unstable. So the fact that you were there and you still managed to get the education you got, and it's just it's admirable. Because like over here
I
in America, I feel like we're kind of spoiled by the circumstances that we have, right?
yeah,
And obviously when even in an ideal world, you're still gonna deal with mental issues, you're gonna deal with other things, right? There's still gonna be some kind of problems you got to deal with, some kind of interpersonal conflicts, right? Even when you quote unquote have everything, but that's something that as an American, I feel that we are kind of softened by that and we don't appreciate that. And I mean, I see it as the son of immigrants, right? I see kind of that. I remember my mother, she would always tell me when I wanted to skip school, she would always tell me, that she wished she could go to school, but she had to drop out of 4th grade to work the farms or whatever. So it's like, and she liked school, but 4th grade, that was it. That was the cutoff point for her, you know?
Yeah. Um, so yeah, with a lot of, like, even I came back from Lebanon, it's only been a month, maybe less than a month since I came back to here. I went to Romania and I came here.
Mhm.
And the one of the big reasons I decided it's time for me to leave again is because of the ongoing genocide that was happening in our neighboring country and
Yeah.
the possibility of more war than the war that's already happening at the borders in Lebanon
Mhm.
to escalate and make it a lot less safe than it already is. And just like that instability, and also like when I talk about my personal growth, I feel like I can't really grow there anymore, and I'm like focus on myself now.
Mhm.
So I decided to leave that environment. So this is something that's ongoing. It's been the instability is still there. So yeah.
Yeah, and we don't perceive it as Americans. We don't understand the fact that if you look at America, for example, all of these conflicts are happening. Basically, they fit basically inside of America. So it's like if Texas and Florida, it's kind of like that's how close all these countries are to each other, and the conflicts are happening, and that's how volatile it is that any situation could carry over and hit the next country, and it could just be like a tidal wave of violence. We don't think about it that way. We would understand because America is so far open, right? It's so big and wide. But if you put a map
Yeah.
of America over there, everything is so congested.
Yeah. So for this particular situation that's happening in Palestine,
Mhm.
it's not exactly a conflict as much as it is what should actually be called, which is a genocide.
Mhm.
That's really what it is. There's no conflict. There's nothing to do about it. The Palestinians don't really have a say in what's happening. Like, they don't have a choice in the way they've been living. So the way in Western media that's been portrayed is just spread misinformation to people in the West. So there's no conflict. It's just
Mhm.
your erasing of ethnically cleansing of a nation of certain type of people.
Mhm.
So that's like the reality.
Yeah, I mean the flex I see from the right, it's the usual talking point. It's the usual troll stuff. It's the usual thing like, oh, these people elected, who they elected, and these people, we don't have no involvement in there. We left Gaza so many years ago, and we're not involved in it. Right? That's the argument. That's always the argument, and it's a flex of like, okay, so you're telling me that the prison guard doesn't sleep in the prison. Good for you. Congratulations. Like, okay, you really made a good point there. And essentially that's what it is. Essentially that's what we're seeing, like you said. And it's something that it's funny how oftentimes we always say, how do these things happen? We look at history. I look at history a lot, and we always say, how do these things happen? How did that happen? Like, why did no one? How did that happen? And we see it. We see it with yellow journalism, with false news, fake news. We see it. We see how this happens. Right? It's happening before our very eyes. Right? And we're getting the coverage of it what we can. Obviously there's blackouts. There's like there's suppression even within the media itself, right? The quote unquote the real liberal media, we're seeing who's the real liberal now. And it's disgusting. It really is. And that's something that I don't know how deep you want to delve into that. Like I said, I don't want to put nothing on anyone, a political stance or anything like that, but it's something else. Yeah, I agree with you on that it is a genocide.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to say that as a general point of view is that, as I mentioned before, the Western media is just covering up the mistakes, not the mistakes, the things that the West wants to happen to the Middle East. They're just trying to cover up things so that they look good, and that so the opposing part look like the real enemies, even though they're not, they're the victims, and to make like the people they're partnering with look like they're the victims and they're actually the perpetrators of all the consequences they are. I guess I'm not gonna go too deep into it just because it's very big stuff, but generally that is the reality of what it is. And it's the same thing that happens to a lot of different countries in the Middle East as well. And then there are other Middle Eastern countries also decide to stay quiet and like go ahead the parents because they have a lot of more money and they have ties with America. And they decide to keep those ties as opposed to actually looking out for their brothers and sisters in other countries that in much more dire living situations and conditions in general.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's something that we could definitely, you know, gather our thoughts and delve into on another episode. I mean, like I said, I'm not afraid of it. I don't shy away from it. Like I said in my prologue, I did a lot of political videos before. It just got to a point where it was very depressing, and I say that knowingly, selfishly, because I'm over here depressed that I have to cover it, and people are living it.
yeah,
And I remember when I was younger, I'm still young, but when I was younger, I learned about this thing called sonic booms. Do you know what those are?
no.
So a sonic boom is when a fighter jet breaks the sound barrier. Essentially, it's like if a jet is flying and then it just like it hits the really fast, it breaks the sound barrier. And I remember learning about how routinely IDF fighter jets would do that over Palestinian homes, and they would make children urinate their bed or be traumatized by it and not be able to sleep. And obviously, whenever the sonic booms did happen, the kid would wake up and be traumatized and be afraid because you're breaking the sound barrier. You're breaking the sound barrier, right? And even when the jet didn't come, the fear of the jet coming that night would make the kid traumatized.
Yeah,
And I think about as an American kid, a spider in my room could ruin my night. If there's a spider in my room and I try to kill it and I can't find it, I can't sleep that night. I'm over here thinking, where's the freaking spider? And then I remember reading about this and being like, imagine if it was, and now my trauma was, is the sonic boom going to happen today? Are they going to
yeah,
break the sound barrier today? And it's like these little things that are terror. This is terror. And I remember reading that as a
yeah,
kid and being like, wait, why isn't this covered? Like, why do I have to go out of my way to read about this and find this history out and it's not covered? Like, oh, okay, you don't value these people. Like, oh, okay, I got you. That's what it is. You don't value it the same, you know.
yeah. No, it's like that they're not human beings, they're barbarians because they're from a different religion, they're Arab, they're not white. So really what it is. So when I say like it is, that is what it is, and they want the resources that exist on that land. They need more power.
Yeah.
It's really it's all a big agenda. Like it's not about
That,
it's about
that's what
power.
it is. That's all it
Yeah,
is. When it comes down to it, that's the crux of the argument. That's all it is.
yeah.
And like when that happened, I told those close to me, I told the people close to me, like the people in charge in Israel are celebrating what happened on in October. They're celebrating that because now they're gonna like this is gonna give them a reason, right? As if they needed one in their eyes, but this is gonna give them some kind of validity to do what they want to do all along.
There is I watched something where real I found out that the British mandate is the ones that they're the whole reason that they went there in the first place all
Yeah.
June.
Mhm.
They basically said that the Jews can move there and that's their right, and they had this whole plan and it's carried out by the original Zionists throughout the he decided to actually carry out that plan that the British made up, and they specifically and strategically chose Palestine because it was that smack in the middle of the Middle East, and they knew that because it was right in the middle of the Middle East, it would create, uh, it would destabilize the Middle East and split it into two. And it's key destabilization and opera and problems in the Middle East consistent for years, decades, lifetime. It's still 75 years.
Yeah.
They they knew what they were doing. Like it was all planned out. It wasn't just Palestine and Palestinians and Mexico. Like this. It was because they could have picked any other country with it.
Yeah,
They specifically chose.
it was proposed. It was proposed other spots, but no, they wanted that spot. And also, even in more modern times, I mean, you have Netanyahu bragging about the fact that they need Hamas in power as a counterweight to the West Bank because you cannot have a united Palestine. So they needed Gaza and West Bank to be separated, literally, right, literally down the middle, but also ideologically speaking, and it's a counterweight.
They never wanted to live in these Palestinians. Even though Palestinians at first didn't have a problem with the Jews because they thought they didn't have enough place to go, and they welcomed them as their
Well, they
people.
sheltered them when they were being persecuted as well. They sheltered them. I forget.
Yeah.
I think it was the 70s or the 60s. They were sheltering them as well. It might have been earlier than that, but I remember they were sheltering them from. I think it was I don't forget who it was, but they were sheltering them as well. In Gaza.
And then one day they decided to take over and take out everyone out of their homes, to kill their people, their women, to rape them, to do all sorts of things. So now it's somehow their birthright, even if they don't never step foot in that land. It's somehow their birthright just because they're Jewish and they lived and were raised and born in San Francisco or New York or I don't know where, Poland somewhere, just
Yeah.
because they're Jewish, it's their birthright.
Settlers. Yeah, they're settlers because we see it right now because we see a lot of casualties also in the West Bank. If you want to talk about what happened in October, okay, say that's your premise. I don't agree with it, but say that's your premise. Okay, the bad guy is in Gaza. Why is there stuff happening in the West Bank? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
If all the bad guys are in Gaza, why is stuff happening over here too? Because that's the bigger agenda. That's the bigger play.
Yeah.
But that's a conversation definitely. That's definitely something that we can delve into in a different time. Apologies that it took that turn, but yeah, I try to be somewhat politically aware. I can't compare to you because obviously you live these things firsthand, but I try to be somewhat aware, have some kind of acknowledgement of it.
Fortunately, I haven't had to live these things as firsthand as like I'm not in Gaza, I'm in the West Bank, thankfully. I'm in Lebanon where it's usually it's safer, but I'm definitely not at risk as much as they are. But what's been happening is the south of Lebanon, they literally wiped out an entire village. I think there so many people that died, even my uncle died while they were fighting over there. That was like I think 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. So yeah,
Okay.
like like the entire south is on fire somehow. There's lots. They're getting affected a lot in that area, and it's still happening. Like as we speak, there's probably firing happening. I don't know, airstrikes. I don't even know what they're called. Missiles, I have no idea.
Mhm.
So yeah, but because it's something that's been like happening since October and it became so heavy while I was there, it's just like even I'm kind of tired. Just like always mentioning it and speaking.
Yeah.
I kind of like to break. But we do have to talk about it and it is important and these people should not be forgotten either way. But you take a little break and you go back to actually showing your support.
Yeah, like when you mentioned Lebanon, like that was my first thought because I'm I'm a student of history, geopolitics, all these things. Like, but I didn't want to be like, oh, Lebanon. So no, I didn't want to do that either because that's not the premise here. But it is something that obviously it's relatable. It's in that ball field over there. But it's funny how like you said, this keeps on happening, but the news coverage can get turned down or turned up whenever they wanted to. You even have Ukraine, Zelensky basically jumping up and down, like, don't forget about me. I'm over here too. He's visiting the States and he just they're trying to approve, I think, more money to send to him. and it's just the news coverage. It can go either way. Like if they want to turn it down a little bit, they'll turn it down, and people kind of forget about it. And if something else happens, they'll turn it back up.
I don't know what's happening in Ukraine right now because that hasn't been my focus as much as the region I was in. And I don't know if America was sending the money. I don't follow everything, but there is no money, nothing being sent to the Palestinians, and there's no
Oh,
support or
no.
nothing.
There's not even word support because even saying ceasefire, that's frowned upon. You know.
They no, it's America chose not to ceasefire. They're still choosing not to ceasefire.
Yeah, like even saying it, even if a senator says that, it's like, how dare you even say it, right? Even if you,
Yeah, people are not allowed to go and protest about it. Like,
yeah, it's insane. But like I said, we can delve into that definitely in another video. But we're gonna leave it there. We're at it for 2 hours now. I took it up enough of your time, and I want to thank you and appreciate it for coming on the Persona podcast, being the first guest. And I want to thank you, Sabrina Awdi.
yeah, sure. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Talk soon. Bye.
Yeah, bye.